Hey everybody, it's Lynette Chandler from Tech-Based Marketing, and I am just absolutely thrilled today because we have Josh Sloan, who is the product manager of Gist, here today with us, and he has graciously accepted to spend some time with us to share with us what Gist is all about and how it can help your business and even replace some of the tools that you're already using and really grow your business a lot. So, Josh, welcome. Thank you for joining us and take it away.
Thanks so much for having me. Um, like Lynette said, I work with the people at Gist. It's a great company that has a lot more than a lot of people think. You may have heard of us before as ConvertFox, but late last year we actually did a whole big rebrand and we changed our name to Gist. And our main purpose is to help deliver personalized experiences for the entire sales cycle. So when a visitor comes to your website, the moment they get on your list to be a subscriber, all the way through the customer, because we have some support capabilities as well. So I'm really excited to actually share the screen and actually show you anything you want to know about Gist. Lynette and I have talked, and she said that you guys would be interested more in the email marketing and marketing automation side of things. So I'm going to kind of quickly cover all of what Gist has to offer, and then we can kind of dive into the marketing and email and automation side of it, if that's okay.
Absolutely. That sounds good, Josh.
All right. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. And then I noticed that there are a few people. Hi. If you have any questions, or Lynette, if you have any questions as I go, feel free to stop me. Once I share my screen, I'll be on it, so I won't be able to see the chat or anything. But feel free to stop me and ask me to any questions you may have. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
I see it.
Okay, great. So this is the testing account for the marketing team of Gist. This is where we get to play around with all the ideas that we have. And it's a full working version of Gist that I use to go through. And anytime that you log in to Gist, it's first going to take you to this screen. This is your contact screen. This is where both your live chat contacts, so people who've come onto your site, maybe they're just a visitor and you don't have their email yet, or your email list. This is where all that information lives. And it is a number of different columns that we have pre-put in here, but you can actually create new properties and you can have that be whatever you use for your business. And I'll actually go over an example of that here shortly. So that this is a good place to start, because this is what happens whenever you log into the software. You go to your contacts page, and it already starts to show the benefit of Gist, because we have both live chat and email. So instead of having a live chat software that has certain contacts and then an email marketing software that has your contacts there, everyone and everything is right here. You'll notice a couple things. You can create segments. This is very common with email marketing software, but ours is pretty simple. You can create a segment by performing an event, which we'll go over creating events very briefly here in a little bit. And you can actually have different events that you can create based on the buttons or pages visited and things like that. Or they have a property. So they have their name, they have their email, last seen, even based on different tags that you give a contact. Your segments will show up right here. As you can see, there are several pre-set up, and then this one I actually created. This is a list cleanup. So anyone who falls into here, they haven't been on your website for 140 days, and they haven't opened an email for 140 days. So this just kind of shows you the flexibility that you have with setting up segments. Now, to tag, you would simply check the contact, hit tag, and then you can actually go through your list of tags, or you can add a new tag right here. Now, if you wanted to edit the contact, you can actually choose to tag them with any property. And again, we're going to go over how to make properties, new properties, when I cover the email a little bit later. So that's pretty much the basics of contacts. If you've used any sort of email marketing software, you probably have a good idea of that. And then, of course, you can search your contacts and so on from there. The next feature is right next to it. It's Live View. This is actually, I'm going to go to our test site so you can actually see it. Now, can you see that there, Lynette?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is Live View. Right now, I am on our test site. So it says there's one online, and I'm using it from a different tab so it doesn't know me. But this is going to show how many people are on your site, and this is going to be how many people are in that contacts page that we were just in. And you're going to be able to see their information, their email, the type of contact they are, as well as the current title page, the time on site, and other features. But what's cool about Live View is that you can actually send a message to this person right then and there. So let's just say you're running an ad or you send out a newsletter to your list, and then they're on the page that you had in your newsletter. You can actually type a custom message directly to that site visitor or that contact, or you can have saved snippets that you can quickly and easily handle those things. Say if someone's on your pricing page, you can actually send that live message right to them while they're on your site.
Now, I do have a question about that, Josh.
Sure.
So can you, like, instead of doing that live, can you like pre-program it? Like whenever somebody from my list lands on my pricing page, for example, that message would come up, or is this just strictly live?
Now this is live, but that is actually a feature we do have, and that is in the assistance. You can create chat prompts. So say if someone does come to your pricing page, you can, after they've been on the page for 10 seconds, or say after they've scrolled down 25% of the page, the live chat prompt would just pop up right there. And then they would automatically be engaged in a conversation with you about pricing.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that's a chat prompt. So if you were like, this is great for if you, like I said, have an ad campaign. So if you have a Facebook ad that's going to a specific landing page, you can see people who are showing up to that landing page while it's happening. Or if you send out an email marketing campaign and you have them going to a specific page, you can be there to field questions or even initiate that conversation directly right there. And then, of course,
I haven't even thought about that. That's a good idea, actually. Thank you.
No problem. Now, the conversations and the marketing, tabs are the biggest. So we're going to go back to those because those are the ones that we're going to spend a little bit of time in. So I'm actually going to go to meetings. Now, meetings, this is a meeting scheduler tool that is built in directly to Gist. So some of you may use other tools, maybe like a Calendly would be the biggest name in the game. But if you, it works very similar to that. It gives you a link. You can actually create custom links. You can say the duration of the meeting. You can give the meeting name, a welcome message, and then you can actually go. I'm going to go to this link right here. And then it pulls up. Can you see that? Great. So if you had your image in there, this is, again, our test account, so I don't have that. It would give a little bio. You can write a longer one there. It would give all of the information right there, social profiles, and then, of course, you can click Schedule a Meeting, and it's all there. And it tells you the times that it's available, and it collects the contact data and sets the meeting.
And I'm assuming you can, I'm assuming you can connect this with maybe Google Calendar and stuff like that.
Yeah, it sets up with the Google Calendar, and we also have a Zoom integration. So you can directly link to your video chat account in Zoom.
And would someone need a premium Zoom account to do that integration?
You know what? That's a very good question, and I don't know the answer. But I should know that. I'm going to write that down, and I'm going to find that out right after.
Yes, you let us know. We're very curious.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to say yes or no when I don't know. I'd rather say I don't know.
That's fine.
So, okay. So that is our meetings tool. Now, what you can do is we were just talking about assistants. Now, there's two types of assistants. One would be a chat prompt, and the other is actually a chat bot that you can actually create. So you can create a chat prompt or a new chat bot. The chat prompt is going to be whatever you want. Like we had already talked about, pricing page prompt. And then it's going to be, you're going to be able to choose who it's from. You're going to be able to choose the message. So you can specifically say with our pricing. And then you're going to be able to see it right over here, how it's going to look on both desktop and mobile. And this is the internal title, so you see it. And then these are the display conditions. So you can display, like we were talking about, after a few seconds, after scrolling down a certain amount, based on the date and time, timing conditions, or if you're not there. So you can choose to only show it during your set office hours, or you can show it outside of your office hours. And then these are the trigger conditions. You can show it to everywhere, everyone, specific pages. So if you're doing pricing, you would say contains pricing, just like that. And then you would save it. And then whenever somebody shows up to your pricing page and they're on there for 10 seconds, then this chat prompt is going to get the conversation started. Now, chat bots. Oops, clicked the wrong link now. So, all right, new chat bot. This is a linear chat bot creator based on questions that you provide. So this would be a prompt. Hi, how can I help you? Then you can add a question. And there are several things I can help you with. And then you can add a new response. So you can talk about your services. Let's just say if you're an agency. Great. Here's a look at our services. And then next question, or you can choose a specific question. And then you can add a question. And then you can actually, which service are you interested in? And then, of course, you can add, I'm just going off of a marketing agency type, SEO. We do SEO. So then you can actually create that as big as you want. I've actually created one, and let me try and go through it now. Hold on, I'm typing in a address here. This is one that we actually use on our homepage. If it actually pops up here.
There it is.
It is not popping up.
It's not that? Okay.
I usually, if you visit the site, it actually doesn't bug your visitors by popping up the same thing over and over again. So I usually have to either clear my cache or go to a incognito tab. So I apologize for that.
That's good.
So since I've been there today, actually getting ready for this webinar, it's not going to show up for me. So I apologize for that. But if you, actually right now, if you just, it does pop up for you, Rita. Yeah, you can go through there and actually test it out. You should, unless you choose you're not interested, it should continue to go. I've kind of created it to be an infinite loop bot, so you can kind of get an idea of what the bot's capable of. So we went over contacts, live view, meetings, and assistants. And I'm going to go ahead and go over our knowledge base. Just in addition to live chat, in addition to meetings, in addition to chat bots and chat prompts, we also offer a knowledge base creator. So this actually, here's ours. It's at docs.getgist.com. This is using our own knowledge base creator. We have over 100 articles and counting. We should have a couple or a few hundred by the end of the year. We're really pushing to explain every sort of button and feature on the site. But you can actually go in here and take a look at the style and what you can do and what you can add. And then I will go over some of the options. Just last week, we added the ability to have 43 different languages for the knowledge base. So it's not just English anymore. They're actually, you can publish your knowledge base in 43 different languages, which is pretty awesome. And we'll get to it in a minute, but this knowledge base is completely integrated with our live chat and conversations. So you can actually search for and add live or knowledge base articles directly in your live chat to quickly handle those conversations with customers. But it's just a simple drag and drop, or not, excuse me, not drag and drop, simple text format. You can add photos, videos, links, and then down here in the right-hand corner, let me zoom in a little bit. You can actually change the SEO settings. So you can allow it to be indexed. You can give it a custom page title, a meta description, and you can even change the open graph settings to choose how it's going to show up on social media. So if somebody shares your knowledge base article, they're going to be able to see it with specific images and with a specific description.
Nice.
Yeah. So now I'll go over conversations, and then we'll spend the remaining time in the marketing tab, which I know you guys are hopefully looking forward to. So I'm going to go to conversations. And this is the hub for all of the live chat conversations. It also can be a hub for all of your Facebook direct messages, because we integrate directly with Facebook. It can also be a direct hub for your Twitter messages because we integrate directly with Twitter. And it can also be for all of your email support. So say if you had support at getgist.com like we do, those tickets will go directly into this conversations tab, so your support team can handle those right from here.
All right, so I do have a question on that. Okay, so I want to be clear here, because somebody has asked me before for a system like that. So you're saying that we, if we have multiple pages that we have on Facebook, we can all run that into our Gist account and handle it through here.
That's right.
And Twitter as well.
Yeah, so anybody who sends you Facebook Messenger messages, or direct messages from Twitter, those would show up in your conversations, and you can actually answer them right from the Gist conversation screen as well.
Okay, so Rita has a question here. She asks, can we add other domain emails, like a personal domain?
In terms of like a personal domain for...
Yeah, I think maybe what she's asking is, if we have like multiple domains that we own and we kind of manage, yeah, she's saying like, for example, at mysite.com, maybe Rita at mysite.com. Can we flow all that through into Gist?
Now, your Gist account will be for one domain, one workspace. So you would need more than one Gist account. So if you say, if I'm understanding the question correctly, if you have two websites, two different businesses, they won't both go into the same Gist workspace. If that's the question. Okay.
But you can, let's say if I set it up for one site, then I can have maybe Josh at mysite.com and Lynette at mysite.com. As long as they're the same site, I can have multiple addresses going into.
Right. Users, yes, you can. Our support plan is by user, and it's after the 21-day trial, it's $9 per user, and the growth plan you can that's just based on your list size.
Right.
But and then you can actually add. So say if Josh at Git, you can add that, or if you just had a Gmail email, you can add people with those emails. Now, when you sign up, you have to sign up with your business email. So it would be josh@getgist.com. But if you work with a lot of freelancers and you want them to be on your Gist account, but they don't have a domain brandable email, but they just have their Gmail or whatever, then you can add them. They can be added by an invitation link, but they cannot sign up for an account. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. So as a follow-up, actually, this is my question. As a follow-up, so if I have, let's say, sales at tech-based marketing, for example, is my site, sales at techbasedmarketing.com, and then I have maybe support at techbasedmarketing.com. Can I put them through GIST and then have them like identify like this should be answered by this me, and then this should be answered by somebody else. You know.
That is a good question, and that might be even what Rita was talking about. That's another good question that I'm marking down as well. And I apologize because just as like I said, we just rebranded late last year, and we've been putting out between 4 and 10 updates, and not just small updates like live view. That was 2 weeks ago. That's a brand new feature that was just released 2 weeks ago. Major updates every 2 weeks. So the product actually, it's the most exciting thing I like about working there is the product changes so quickly for the better every single week. So I'm going to find out about those, and I will email you so you can
Yes, please.
share those with the audience. That's a great question. So two different. It's actually really good question. So I'm gonna no problem.
Right. Well, the only reason I'm asking because people ask me. So
no, and I can actually once you actually know the answer to that, and even if you don't, like say if you have something coming in from any email, you can assign the appropriate teammate. So say if Paulina is on the sales team and Jitta is on the support team, you can actually assign the proper person. And
okay.
Yeah, that's all from the conversation tab. And then your teammates would actually get mentions. They would actually see that they've been mentioned, and they would actually know which conversations they were tagged in. They can click on it and they can quickly see those conversations to handle those customers quickly. They can see what's been assigned to them, the mentions, and you can even see how many conversations are unassigned, so you can quickly handle incoming issues. And then this is, of course, is the actual conversation tab, and you can write whatever message you like to your customer, or you can click note. Now, notes are strictly internal messages between your team. So you could say at Paulina, lead has a question about pricing. And then you can add this note, and just Paulina, or actually just the team, is going to be able to see this. The customer's not. And then, of course, you can add attachments, photos, even GIFs, emojis. You can schedule those meetings directly from this, and it's all on the same dashboard, so you don't have to worry about integrations with your meeting schedule tool. It's all right here. You can use those snippets that we had talked about as well to quickly handle. Let's just say we're a software product, and if we have an outage or if we have a particular issue and a lot of people are going to be getting back with us, we can create a snippet that quickly explains the problem. So that way we dramatically reduce our support burden and the amount of time that we're handling customer calls. And this little button is the articles button. This is actually where you can search the knowledge base and quickly add those links to help those customers as well. And then over here, this is all the information. So you're going to see where the site visitors from, when they're on the site, and all these custom properties. You can expand those to see them all. You can see their tags, or you can add tags to them, and you can make customer notes as well in the bottom right. And up here, you can, of course, close the conversation. You can choose it to come back up. You can star it to make it more important. You can delete it. You can even block, live chat. We know some people are immature. So if you need to block the user or block the IP, you can do that as well. So that is the conversations tab. That is, like I said, fully integrated with the other tools. So now we can go into, unless you have any other questions about any of that. Anybody?
Yeah, I don't see any questions right now about that, but I'll keep an eye on that. I don't. So please continue.
All right. So we're going to go into email. So we have 3 different types of email that you can use. Broadcasts. These are going to be newsletters. Say if you're running a sale or you have a big announcement, something that needs to go to either a large segment or even your entire audience. That's going to be a broadcast. Drip campaigns, these are going to be at least 2 emails that are separated by some amount of time. But usually it's between 4 and 10 emails, and it's a nurture campaign. So if you have someone sign up to your blog, you can put them in a drip campaign, and then they'll get the first email. A couple of days later, they'll get the second, and then the third, and so forth and so on. That nurtures them. It shows them the supporting content that you have ready for them, and hopefully eventually pushes them to become a customer. And then we have behavioral emails. These are emails that you set up based on events or properties of specific users. So say if somebody subscribes to your blog, and you can set up events. So they've visited your getting started page, they visited your resources page, they've watched your webinar. And once they do certain things, you can trigger a behavioral email to be sent to them. So that way, right when they're ready to receive that email, you can get it right into their inbox immediately as soon as they perform whatever action or meet whatever quality it is that you choose for them to meet. And we actually use this, and I'll go over that here in just a minute. Then we have our forms product. I'll just go in there real quick. It's a pretty lightweight forms product. You can enter your form name, and then you can choose from a light box, a hello bar, a little bumper that shows up in the bottom right-hand corner, a notification that shows up in the top right, the full page takeover or the welcome mat. And then, of course, you can edit all of those properties and the fields. And you can even choose your thank you message that's going to go out to them immediately after. And then how they would actually confirm, you can write the confirmation email immediately from the forms product. So that way you don't have to have a specific email for it in your email marketing tool. You can just attach the confirmation setting email right here, which is a great way to deliver a lead magnet. So we have several lead magnets on the site, and we just write the confirmation email, and then once they confirm, we send them this email that has their lead magnet link or the lead magnet itself in there. Actually, in the follow-up, we do that. And then you have the widget. You can embed it or the hosted version there. So it's just a lightweight forms tool. And then event tracking. Now, this isn't exactly it's not as visual as like workflows, which we'll cover in a second, but events are incredibly important because you really need events to be able to trigger certain things. So we have a couple different things. We have simple mode for event creation and event visualizer. And you can, of course, hit new event over here. But I'm just going to hit event visualizer. And then I'm going to go right to the Get Gist homepage. And then you can actually, if you see this red outline around this button. Can you see that? Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong. No, you can't because it opened it in a new tab.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, you see this get started for free button with the red outline?
Yes.
That is not normally there. This is because we are in definition mode. And if you click on that button, it's actually going to allow you to name it. So get started button. Then you can define that event. And then when you go back, you will actually see get started button right there. And it'll actually show you how many times somebody has actually clicked on it. But the reason this is important is because you can actually trigger marketing automations later on with the events and the properties and the tags that you give to your subscribers. So we're going to go into email so I can actually show them to you a little bit. So this is just a new blog post email that I've put together. Just to give you guys an idea of the email composer. And if you have any questions about this, I know, Lynette, you said that they would be your audience would be most interested in this. So feel free to stop me or slow me down or whatever you feel is necessary. This is just a new email. You have the subject line. You have who it's from. All your users will be up here. The pre-header is the sentence that they'll be able to see like in Gmail, but it's not actually in the email. And then, of course, you have all of the typical options for creating an email. I've added a GIF here just to, show that. And then, we have a button creator that's fully customizable as far as like, color and size and things of that nature, which we can, you can actually change the text, change the link, change the color, and then various different elements about it. So then that's the editor. And you can see a preview over here on the right, which might be a little squished because I'm zoomed in a little bit. And then up here on the right, the top right, you can see this preview as button. This preview as button allows you to see specific users, how they would actually see the email. So you are previewing this as this specific person. So see, it says subscriber first name. This is the tag there, and then preview as Justin, and it says hi Justin. So you can actually test all of your personalization tags before you send out emails to make sure that they're working. So you won't have anybody get hi subscriber name. So it'll save you from that embarrassment.
Nice.
That we've all experienced. So yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Now, is there an ability to do like conditional data?
There is. That's exactly what I was going to go. I was kind of starting off a little slow.
Okay.
And then, of course, your recipients. This is where this is available on every single email, but this is specifically where you would go in behavioral emails to make sure that it's getting to the right person. So in all emails, you can choose a segment. You can also choose whether or not they have a property. So if they have a tag that contains subscriber, if they're a new user, exactly, within 7 days. So they're new users within the last 7 days. Or you could performed an event. We just made the getting started button. So is exactly within 7 days. Or you can choose not to have the anytime there as well. So you can really sort of dig down and really get the personalization without having to do it more than once. So you just set all that up more than once, and it's ready to go. And then in settings, of course, you have the typical settings. You can change your address. You can duplicate the broadcast. So like every week we do a newsletter. Many of you might as well. And they usually have a very similar format. So I duplicate it, and it's pretty quick and easy. And then, of course, there is send and schedule. So you can send it immediately at a specific time. You can choose the time zone. And then you can resend it to people who did not open, and you can choose to wait like a few days. And then you can even change the headline right there, and you can go ahead and schedule it. So that is the overview of how to create an email. So now, as you asked, we have liquid tags, and you can see liquid tags example. Mm-hmm. This is a copy and pasted email that we actually use in our onboarding. So we tag verticals. So say if you're a publisher, like if you're a blogger or an author or somebody who produces informational content, that's one vertical. Or if you are an agency, that's another vertical. If you're an e-commerce store, that's another vertical. We have 7 different verticals that we've chosen to target. And in this email, you can see that if subscriber tags contains business, that's how we tag B2Bs, then they will see this message. Or else if, that's why this short code is there, subscriber contains consumer. So consumer services, things like gyms or hair salons, things like that. And we created a specific guide for consumer services to get started with Gist. And then, of course, so on and so on. So a specific guide for e-commerce is to get started with Gist. Home services like electricians and plumbers. Marketing agencies, publishers, and SaaS companies. But here's the thing: if we sent this, then it would look very ugly, and that's where the preview as button comes in, because I've already tagged Justin with e-commerce, so he only sees e-commerce. And you can see now the conditional liquid tags are there again. But then if you preview as Paulina, she is the B2B company. And then if you choose me, I am the home services company. So You can use these conditional tags. They look scary at first if you've not dealt with anything like this before, but once you actually get the idea, it's really, really simple. Essentially, these are your braces and percentage signs that open and close your liquid tag. And then it just, it reads like a very weird sentence. So if your subscriber has a tag that contains business, then they will see this. Or else if the subscriber tag contains consumer, then they will see this, and so forth and so on. And then if they don't contain any of these tags for some reason, or if you want this part of the message to go to everyone, it would just be else. And that would include everyone else in the list that is going to get the email. They would get this message. And then this, of course, ends the tag. And then the rest of the email just continues on. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I like the preview really, because I'm using a particular tool that does give me these options, but I'm never sure what somebody will see.
Right.
So that's very helpful.
Right. And that, again, that preview as just last week. That just
Oh,
came out. It's
good.
brand new. So I've got to be on my toes, right? But
Good.
yeah, so that is, and the cool thing is this conditional content or liquid tags, these are actually available for your snippets as well. So for instance, we were using the pricing tag or the pricing page example.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have someone on your pricing page and you want to initiate a conversation or use a chat prompt with the event tracking and the data that you have on visitors, you can use, let's just say one person has signed up for a trial and one person is just the first time on your site. You can choose liquid tags in your snippets to show the person who's never been on your site, hi, if you have any questions about our pricing, please let me know. And if someone has signed up for your trial, they wouldn't see that message. They would see a message that says, hi, are you ready to upgrade that trial to a paid account? And that's that in your chat messaging is really, really powerful. When you think about the personalization of live chat is just as powerful as email, really. So they know that they would know that you know who they are, that they have a trial, and that you're looking out for them and actually, wanting to know if they're ready to sign up for a paid account.
So at this point, I do have a question, and I'm going to assume that you cover this a little bit, just a little bit later. But so while we're talking about people who have signed up for something versus a new customer, what kind of integrations do y'all have with like shopping carts and systems so that you can actually talk to our shopping cart, for example? How would y'all get that data?
Yeah, right now we integrate directly with Stripe, and that is the only one. We are working very hard on both WooCommerce and Shopify. So those are going to be the next two. So it's Stripe right now, and then of course WooCommerce and Shopify hopefully will come in sooner rather than later.
Would y'all have, are y'all working, or would it be in a roadmap somehow to be working with Zapier or something like that?
We do have webhooks as well, so maybe you could figure out something there. So, and we do, we just announced we're about to do a big announcement with, I don't know how to pronounce it, Integromat.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like Zapier. We're going to be doing a joint thing much like this very soon. So, so you can, so there's definitely a lot of integration options through Zapier and Integromat. I'm not sure again how to pronounce it, but we actually didn't know they had integrated with us. And then we saw the announcement on social media. We reached out to them. So now we're going to kind of make it a big deal. We're going to integrate with them and make it a very direct connection.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
No problem. So I've showed the email. I've showed liquid tags and the kind of the full range of what the email marketing does. Now I'm going to cover our two automation tools. You can notice that Workflows is in beta. But again, a lot of updates have already come to it, and they are coming. So basically what I'm going to show is I'll just create a new workflow, and we'll just kind of play around with it. Visual workflows are essentially how your subscribers will move through your campaigns, through your behavioral emails, and through your broadcast emails in a visual form. So we'll just call test workflow, and then I'll create that. And essentially, you can just start off with adding a trigger. Now, these are all of the trigger options. So they match a custom audience that you've created. They've subscribed to a campaign, either through a form or you've subscribed them to a campaign. Now, they've exited from a specific campaign, or they've completed one. They just finished a drip campaign that you had already had them in. They submitted a form, or they've opened and read an email. They've clicked a link from an email. They visited a specific page, performed a specific event, applied a tag, removed a tag. The contact property has been updated, or you unsubscribed, or they submitted the email in chat, which this I didn't cover, but you can actually directly collect emails from live chat conversations, and even chatbots can collect contact data. And chatbots can also be set up to set up meetings with our meeting scheduler tool as well. So wanted to mention
So
that.
when somebody, excuse me,
No.
if somebody initiates a chat with like your chat bot or your what you call a chat prompt, they are and they enter like their email address, they will go directly into like your list of contacts that you can literally follow up with them. I mean, do they need to subscribe again to, and how does that work?
Yeah, if they enter their contact data in the live chat, it's not like you like harvest their email and then make them a subscriber. They do actually input their information there, so you're not violating like GDPR and things like that. But they do enter that contact data. Let's just say if they want to set up for a meeting, or they have a question about pricing, and your bot says, well, here's our list of pricing, here's everything I know. And then you can enter your email, and then we'll get back to you. Tomorrow the support rep will, or the support team will. That would then, even before then, they would be in your contacts as a site visitor, even if you don't have their email, and they would be on your event tracking. So you would actually see that person from that IP address has been on your site.
Oh, okay.
It all goes right into your contacts, and then once they give you the email address, they would actually be a subscriber. And they could be put into any of these workflows.
Okay.
So this is, like I said, just a visual view of everything that you could do with our automation. So we could just click submitted. I'll just do submitted a form, because I think that's something that everyone is familiar with. Is somebody, they did a lead magnet form. So that is the trigger, and you can add additional triggers as well. So they can all go into this workflow. And then the next thing you would do is to add a block of something that happens. So it can be an action, a decision, a parallel path, a delay, go to action. This is a way to move the contact from one point of the workflow and skip some steps to another one. Or you can have them in the automation. So the most used one at first would be an action. So if they sign up for a lead magnet with a form, you would probably subscribe them to a campaign, and it could be just a subscriber nurture campaign, and then just the first email, and then there it would be. So the moment someone enters this lead magnet form, they would be put in this campaign. But if you don't want to annoy them, like by sending the confirmation email and then the lead magnet email, you can actually add a delay. So we could just do the duration 2 days, and you can skip the weekends if you choose, and then save it. So say if they sign up on Thursday, then Monday or Tuesday, depending on how long the delay is, they would be enrolled in this campaign. And then you can actually have decisions in here. So pick a segment. We don't want to pick a segment. We want to pick performed an event. let's say your nurture campaign is trying to drive them to become a customer. So if they perform an event, new course buyer is within the last 15 days, it would actually create a decision path. They are a buyer, yes, or they did not perform that event and they are not a buyer. So at the moment they are a buyer, you can actually move them, do another action, move from one campaign to another. So they move from subscriber nurture to, just another different campaign, like lead nurturing campaign.
Okay,
and then,
nice.
Yeah, so they would go from there. And if they didn't, then you can it would continue on this. But as soon as they would become a customer, they would be moved from one campaign to another, or you can, simply have them exit the campaign. But of course, we know that you probably want to continue to that conversation with them. So you want them to go from one campaign to another. And that is a quick overview of the visual workflows. And of course, down here in the left-hand corner, you can scroll, or you can scroll up and down. You can also zoom in and zoom out to see it a little bit better. So you can really get an idea of how specific visitors, leads, and customers are flowing through your campaigns.
All right. I have a question now.
Sure.
I know I'm jumping in a lot here, but these just pop up.
No, that's exactly. There's so much going on that this happens every time that I've interviewed with someone. They're like, wait a second. So,
So here's a question somebody asked me the other day about some other service. And let's say I have like 2 emails that are going out on different days. One email goes out 2 days after, and the other email goes out on the 3rd day. And then I realized I entered them wrongly. I wanted the 3rd email to go up. I just want to rearrange them. Can this be done easily? Like, can we drag and drop them, or do we have to delete the whole thing and start over? How does that work?
Let's see. 2 emails. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So you just drag and drop. Oh, well, it worked except for the first time. There we go. So yeah, you just wait till that little crossbar shows up, and then you can easily, and then of course you can edit them. You can rename as well. So you can change the names of them just to make sure that everything is right. Like when you can actually see some of these. You can see I like to keep things very organized in terms of like what it is. So here's what it is. It's a template. It's for home services. It's a referral email. So yeah, I'm definitely the ease of use has to be there as far as drag and drop emails and keeping everything exactly the way it should be. And that's what I like about workflows, especially as we continue to update it and develop it over time. I mean, this is just going to give you a great idea of exactly what your customers are getting. You could even create an entire campaign with workflows just with individual emails. So let's just say if you really wanted to get granular with it, they sign up for your list and then you delay a couple days and then you send them this first nurturing email. Well, then that has a decision in it. It has a call to action. And then if they say no, you send them another email here. And if they say yes, well, you move them down the funnel here. And you can create an entire campaign based on the emails that you create in our email tool with the visual workflow builder. And then you can just, back out and you can see and actually visually, you could preview the email to make sure that it's going to say the right thing. And then you can come over to workflows and you can get a visual look of exactly how they're going to go through that funnel.
So you're telling me that I can build a workflow from emails that I've written before. I don't have to create a entirely new workflow with emails that I have to go back and copy and paste,
right.
whatever's in. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So
nice.
Action, send a broadcast email or subscribe to a campaign. So you can create broadcast emails. And then you can send specific broadcast emails. So you can
I
create,
like that.
yeah. So so if you didn't want to do a drip campaign that's just like a traditional drip campaign, you can create your own very intricate with parallel paths, and you can apply
Mm,
tags. I mean, you could do, you know, any of these actions. So any of these
nice.
actions, you can apply a tag, you can subscribe them, you can enroll them in another workflow. You can even perform math. So if you're doing lead scoring or anything like that, so you can actually add or subtract or multiply, whatever numbers. We've actually been experimenting with the number of months somebody is a paying customer at Gist. So every month we would add a one. So that way we would know how many months they've actually been a paying customer very quickly. And then after they get a certain number value, we can even send emails saying, congratulations, you've been a Gist user for a year, and things like that. So there's a lot to it. And we've already been 50 minutes in, and I'm not even I haven't even got to the very last, which is the marketing automations tool. And I feel like I've been moving at a pretty good pace. I don't know if you feel that
Yes,
way
you
too.
are. So continue.
Yeah. So the last, we might go over the settings a little bit, but the last thing is going to be automation rules. This is a very simplified version of our automation. Essentially, I have a test rule here that I've created. When you create new rule, you're just going to name it, and then it's going to have a trigger, and then it's going to have an action. So whatever you choose to trigger. So let's just say, excuse me, clicked a link from an email. Choose the email type. Broadcast email. Choose the email. Referral email. Choose the link. Any link. And then when they click that link, what should happen? You can apply a tag to them saying, like they watched the video that we sent in the link. So now they are a qualified lead. You can remove a tag. You can subscribe them to a campaign. You can move them to a new campaign. Much like the workflows, this is just in a more linear visual format. You can delete the contact. You can send a notification email. I really like this because we can actually use it for scheduling a demo. So if they clicked a demo link from the email, then we know that they're probably setting up a meeting time. So we can send a notification email, and we can write the email. I can send an email to myself or to anybody else on the sales team, and you have a new demo. And then you can actually type the message right here and saying, check your meetings. You have a demo set up. And then you can get this notification email immediately. So that way nobody slips through the cracks. You don't not show up for a meeting. And of course, that's just one example out of all of these different triggers that you can choose from. And you can add multiple actions for one trigger. So if they click this link, they can get a tag, they can get sent a specific email, or they can get enrolled. You can do math. You can perform that math that we were talking about all in one automation rule. And then you just turn the rule on. Nope, it can't be blank because I haven't. But anyway, you can just turn it on. And then it would show up here. And then we have an active one there. So it's kind of like a visual. It's not the visual way, but it is a very linear way. So if you say, okay, if they do this, I want this to happen, then you can set those up individually. So workflows may be for the person who's really going to dive in and create this big master, visual nurture sequence. And then the automation, the builder could be just for somebody who says, well, if they click this link in my one email, I want to know about it. So I want to be sent this email when that happens. And they can just do those one-off type rules that do those automations. So last, we'll just...
Yeah, that's probably less intimidating for somebody who's really overwhelmed with the workflow process, and they just want to start with that.
That's exactly why I like it. One of the biggest challenges of my job is to make this tool, which individually each of these things are fairly easy to do. Like I've went through them and was able to explain each of them in less than 5 minutes in a way that people can comprehend what they do. But when you see, all of this up here, and the drop down menus, it can be intimidating at first, and that's literally my job, is to make those things easy to understand. So that's why I like the automation rule builder, because it is just, if this happens, then this will happen, and that's really quick and easy for someone to understand.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll just quickly go over the settings. There's a lot here. There's a couple new ones that I would go, like contact properties. You can create properties. We, instead of tags, I showed you our liquid tags. We actually created a property called vertical specifically, and that we actually use that. So it's if subscriber.vertical says business, or B2B or whatever it is. We created that custom property, and you can use those in your liquid tags. So if you really think about that, you can create an infinite number of properties based on what your business does, and it can be specific to your business, so you can actually very quickly, and you and your team can quickly understand what it is. Like vertical makes sense for us at Gist because we are kind of breaking everybody down into 7 different verticals. So if we see vertical, we know what it means, and you can do that for your business, and it can really travel throughout the entire app just by that one property. Messenger, there's a couple of really cool features. We actually have message sneak peek now. This allows you to see what live chat visitors are typing before they actually hit enter, which is a really cool feature. There are a couple of things. Obviously, if you're in the EU, it does not make you very GDPR friendly. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And 2, we respect browser privacy. So if Chrome or Safari has privacy settings to not collect that kind of data, we don't. So if you do sign up for a trial and you hit message sneak peek on, and you still aren't seeing a live chat being typed in, then that's probably why. They're either using Chrome and it's got their do not track settings on, or maybe they're in the EU, that kind of thing. So we do respect that. And then the last thing is forms. I'm not going to probably find it very quickly here. There it is. Forms. We actually collect data from all website form products now. So if you have a contact us page, like contact form 7 or Elementor forms or Gravity forms, and they enter their name and their email address, that will automatically be added to your Gist contacts page. So you don't have to worry about those playing well together, because you just turn that on, and all of that contact data will be in your contacts. So every time somebody sends you a contact us message, then they will be in your account. Oh, I see, Rita, you have a question there. Rita, as far as I know, how it works is if you turn it on and a person's browser allows their message to be tracked, it will be tracked. So the danger in that is if you had someone from the EU with you typing a message and you're seeing that, then you are in violation of GDPR. So you might be able to see a person from the States or another country's message being typed in, but you will also possibly see someone who is under GDPR typing their messages as well. So I cannot recommend that in good conscience, because you'd be violating there's no way to separate that. So if it's on, it's on. So you'd be able to potentially see the people from the European Union's messages as well as the US's messages, which would put you in violation. So just want to make that clear.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter, like if my if my team can be if my team member is in Asia and I'm here in the US, both of us can see what's been typed in, regardless of where that person is, if that feature is turned on. Is basically what you're saying, Josh?
Yeah, if it's turned on, then anywhere you can see it. But the danger would be is if someone was from a country with privacy laws that protect their rights in that specific arena, then that would get you in some trouble. So that is that's pretty much it.
Okay.
obviously it was a lot. So yeah, it would go against the law, Rita. It definitely would.
But the good thing is that you can turn it off and just
Yeah,
probably be a safe bet.
you actually have to go in and turn both of those features on that I mentioned, both the automatic form collection and the message sneak peek. We don't leave those on automatically because those are decisions that you have to make for your business.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So they are off by default. So it's not like when you sign up, you're immediately, you have that turned on.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
So any other questions I can answer as far as any other tool about the product and um,
Um, Personally, for me, I've asked you a lot of questions already going on, so I think I'm pretty good. But anybody else who might have some questions, definitely. And thank you, Rita. You've been so great with your
yeah, thank you,
questions.
Rita.
Yeah, if anybody else, feel free to jump in. Um, but otherwise, I think, I'm sure because of the time issue, probably some people will be watching this a little later. And even if you do, just reach out to me. I'll ask them, and I'll talk to Josh, and I'm sure he'll get back to me, and I'll get that information out to you for sure.
And I have the two questions written down: the Zoom integration, and then
Yes.
the sales at and support at question. I'm going to get those wrapped up, and I'll send you an email about that tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. But I really like what I'm seeing here, Josh. I think some of people here might not know, but I promoted Gist when way back it was a ConvertFox, and I was very, very impressed with it back then. And I see now that y'all have done so much more with it. I was actually writing down the different kind of tools, right? I mean, I really wrote down only four, but I'm sure I see there's so many other things. You can be our email service provider, our support desk, our scheduler, like a meeting scheduler. You can be our chat bot. So, at least 4 to 5 different things in one instead of us having to sprawl that out in different places. So that's very nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the conversations, which is both live chat conversations and the help desk functionality. Then we have the email, forms, event tracking, workflows, and then the automation rules. And then we have the chat bots, and then meetings, and then we have the knowledge base as well. And now we have live view, which is in beta still, but it is our newest addition. So you can see what's going on your site live. And we have a couple other things going on that I'm not really allowed to talk about quite yet, but the number of updates and things has been astonishing to me. Every day you kind of wake up, and I'm the guy who updates the updates page. So it's been really exciting.
Good. I look forward to hearing more about you guys' updates and sharing them with everyone else.